Hello, and welcome to Better Betting. Here are your hosts, the king of Timonium, Gary Quill, and the ruler of the replays, Eric Rubin.
Hello, and welcome to Better Betting. My name is Eric Rubin, and I'm here with my partner, the king of Timonium, Gary Quill. GQ, how be you?
Eric, I'm doing good, and we have some unfinished business we need to take care of from last week. I think I hit the trifecta. First, the good news, which involves both you and I. At the first leg of the Pick Five we did last week, Whitney card, you correctly picked the winner, Society. Vava was the no.
I don't think so. I said Society could win, but I'll take credit if you want to give me credit.
Well,
No, I said it has a
and I
definite chance.
and I like Scylla on top. She ran second. Vava ran third, so I'll give us the exacta there.
All right.
Now, after that, I do want to thank you for paying off the dollar that you owed me from our little bet. Yes, world record, I think, was out to set a world record based on the fractions he was running in that race. When you said Speakeasy would have no problem finishing ahead of world record.
Okay.
And Speakeasy probably got the short comment, outrun or never a threat, ninth. And even though world record finished sixth, at least he was heard from throughout the race.
In my defense, Speakeasy was like, or whatever the horse is, was probably my fourth or fifth pick. I just didn't like world record in that spot. It was more an anti-world record, but congratulations.
Yes. And
Don't spend it all in one place.
And then the other feather in my cap was the fact that I dare to disagree with the time for pace projector in the Travers. And lo and behold, who was setting the pace when they came out of the gate and throughout the race? Number 5 Batten Down, which that's who I said him and Dornock would be 1-2. And pretty much my pace projection put time form US pace projection to shame. So I have to right the ship on that since I was ridiculed in real time. So
congratulations.
Let's put that
it's more important to pick them at the end, which that was like the one race I was actually pretty good in last week. It wasn't a great weekend, I don't think, for me, but yeah, I figured Fierceness was a horse to beat personally, and I thought Sierra Leone, as we've discussed, was going to come in probably third or so, which I think he did, maybe third, fourth. And I thought Torpedo Anna would run a good race. I just wanted to get one of the long shots, the 3 or 4, I forgot the name offhand, in the mix, and couldn't do that. But other than that, the top ones. Yeah.
Corporate Power and Unmatched Wisdom.
There you go. Very good. Good memory.
They were unmatched.
So we'll move on. As Saratoga is starting to close
down. Before we move on, I have to once again, bask in the glory of my appearance on the video feed at the Big T Timonium. And I thank you for alerting our followers and your followers to tune in to the Big T to see me spew my wisdom at the dirt oval at Timonium, which the first race that I was on to provide my analysis, I provided a $12 plus winner and happened to be the only one who picked that horse. So, you gotta jump on your victory. So once again, proving I am truly the king of Timonium.
King of Timonium, very modest king of Timonium. You used to be able to get was it the GQ approach sheet at
Timonium? The GQ approach
no longer available.
In retirement. It was taken over by Picks and Ponderings. John Piasek does that. I almost slid in there this year to do the GQ approach, but since John is the current handicapper on the Maryland circuit for the racing biz, I deferred. But I'll be back out at the Big T if anybody, if
Hmm.
the races work out between Kentucky Downs, Saratoga, and all the other smaller tracks in the country. Tune into the Big T and see my ugly mug and see what I have to say. But I digressed enough. But before we get into talking about the late pick five car sequence at Kentucky Downs, first time at Kentucky Downs since opening day was on Thursday, you wanted to kind of do a little precursor of what we're going to
Yeah,
talk
I
about.
mean, we were debating what track to do, and Saratoga actually, I think, looked pretty good also. And usually I stick with New York. Plus the audience seems to like that as much as bet there. But looked like there was going to be rain Saturday. And Kentucky Downs, the rain forecast has gone down. It's about a 20% chance now, 25% chance. So knock on wood, it was about 50% when I started looking at these races a couple days ago. So knock on wood, we should be okay for the turf. The good thing about Kentucky Downs is if it gets rained out, they just bring back the card like a day or two later, a week later. So it's not a waste, I feel, if we go through this, where Saratoga, it would be off the turf and kind of a waste. I'm going to lose my handicapping card or betting card here with the experts because I'm not supposed to be betting Kentucky Downs. People very upset over the last year or two as they've raised takeout a little bit while raising purses to insane levels. And instead of using that money to lower takeout, and take the short-term loss at lowering takeout might impact them, benefit them long-term. So I reluctantly still bet it just personally because I think the takeout is still comparable to like Naira and the other tracks. Second, which I'm not condoning a raise. Secondly, it's 12 horse fields every race. It's hard to get that. And that's where I'm able to make money on. And I think a lot of people feel the same. So I totally understand if you want to take a stand against them out of principle. But we're going to cover Kentucky Downs and hopefully we can make some money there. I just want to get that out of the way. So back to you. Go ahead.
But as I talk about, we're now more than 5 shows, or maybe this is our 5th show on YouTube. So anybody who hasn't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And I know there's at least one loyal subscriber to the Better Betting podcast that is happy we're talking about Kentucky Downs, because I noticed on our Wasabi Slack channel on handicapping, one of our members, Kevin Olson, I believe, said, looking forward to your Kentucky Downs handicapping clinic. So don't let Mr. Olson down. You got to come through for him.
That is more pressure than I want. I don't want to sit here and brag. I've done well at Kentucky Downs, so I think 5 years in a row on the plus. So we'll hope to get it going, including I think my biggest score was there too. So we're hoping to keep it going here, but we'll see what happens. So do you want to get into
ready to
pick 5?
start?
Yeah, you want to
Yeah,
I'll try and get the PPs up.
Yep. So Saturday, late pick 5 at Kentucky Downs, Saturday, August 31st. And the late pick 5 sequence starts in race 7, which is a race for maidens, 6 furlongs on the turf for fillies and mares, 3-year-old and upward. There are 16 entered, only 12 draw in, which I'm going to call out Kentucky Downs management. I thought like decades ago, the tote system was expanded to allow for 14 betting interests. So what's the deal with only allowing 12 horses to run? Or is there a starting gate? They can't afford a starting gate that allows 14 horses?
Well, I think based on the purses, they can afford anything. I honestly don't know, but I'm pretty sure a pretty wide course that they could accommodate more. I'm not sure if they do it. They don't want to tear up the whole course. They can move it, but they're only there 7 days. I don't know. I didn't honestly. I just didn't really think about it, but it makes a lot of sense. I would love if they had 14 or 15 horses.
That's why you have me here to ask those
hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Somebody's got somebody's got to ask those. So,
Yes.
all right.
Next up,
So,
60 minutes for you, GQ, if this doesn't work out.
yeah, I mean, I'm getting my money's worth this so far. So, all right. So, go ahead. You have the PPs up for race 7.
I do. Are they being shown? They should be.
They are being shown.
All right.
You're
You want
showing
to
number
introduce
1,
the race here, what we are?
Gloriously. Yep.
All right, I'll introduce the race. Race 7, Kentucky.
I already did.
You did? I didn't hear it. You sure?
I said it was 6 furlongs on the turf. It was
Oh.
maidens, 3-year-olds and up. 16 entered, 12 can run. And I went on my tirade about why they can't have 14 betting interests.
In my defense, I heard that part. In my defense, I usually listen to about 40% of what you say. So I heard the last part. But no, I was putting up the PPs. I probably missed what you said. All right. So looking at this race here to start off the pick 5, it's always hard because when you're talking about a pick 5, each leg impacts the other leg. And I already know what I'm doing in some other legs. So chances are I'm going to be singling in another leg that we'll talk about. I'm going to spread a little bit here. I have to decide if I want to spread kind of like just 3 deep, which isn't a huge spread, or go about 5 or 6 deep here. So I'll talk about the 3 horses that I definitely plan on using here. And then I'll let you talk about who you like, and then maybe mention the others if you don't. So the favorite is Scarlet Poppy, the 7 horse for Wesley Ward. Now, the morning line at Kentucky Downs, if I remember correctly, is pretty bad. So we can't really go by it too much, but most likely this horse will be the favorite. The horse, we talked about this on our show, this horse, a couple weeks ago, I guess July 27th. Not sure if you remember, GQ, but it was the 1 horse. It was a Wesley Ward. It was a turf sprint, as you guys can see. And I was betting against this horse as the favorite. And the horse actually ran a much better race than I thought. I got fortunate because Lamorna, who was a big closer, was a 7 horse, I think, ended up winning that race, who I had in pick 5s, pick 4s. I don't know if I hit anything, but I had. But I was against this horse. But this horse got in all kinds of trouble that day. Scarlet Poppy was getting a perfect trip, saving ground behind the speed. That typical, even though it was Pratt, that typical Joel trip where he saves ground, does great things, and then gets stuck in the stretch. And that's exactly what happened. I had nowhere to go in the stretch. In fact, I don't want to make this show an 8-hour show, but maybe I'll do a quick replay for those watching. I'm just going to skip to the end of the race here. I'm not going to show the whole thing because, again, be here for a long time, but maybe I'll show it if it wants to come up. Oh, here we go. So we're talking the 1 horse in the yellow cap. Well, there's a few yellow caps in 3rd right now on the rail for those watching. And this horse had nowhere to go. You can see just nowhere to go. Even before that, nowhere to go. Still nowhere to go. I don't know if the horse would have won, but it would have been a lot closer. I think at least 3rd. But also, when you see trouble, 2 things. First of all, especially when it's obvious, it's in the PPs. I'll close this. When it's in the PPs, the trouble, and also it's pretty obvious on a replay like that, people are going to bet that. So you're losing any edge you had. And you have to remember the horse, I know I didn't show it, but the horse had a perfect trip up to that point. So I'm reluctant to go totally against Scarlet Pop here because there's 12 horses a race. I can throw in a 2-to-1 shot and still spread a little bit. So I'm going to use Scarlet Poppy, not my top pick here. Another horse I'm going to use is the 9 Stage Presence. This was a race that was pretty much a merry-go-round race. I hope if I show the PPs, coming out of a similar race, ran on June 28th at Aqueduct or Bacqueduct in a maiden special weight, same level. And if you look at the results here, at the halfway mark, risk threshold, had an easy lead. Scarlet Poppy, who is the Wesley Ward horse I just pointed out, was 2nd. That was 2 races ago for Scarlet Poppy. That's why I didn't like Scarlet Poppy that much, because he just was so she was just 2nd the whole way, saving ground, or I don't know, saving ground, but 2nd the whole way up on a slow pace. Aunt Nona was 3rd. Out Too Late was 4th, but they were like right next to each other there. And Stage Presence, who is the 9 horse, actually was able to make up some ground. Came from 8th, where the other top 5 basically stayed there. Trust me, if you want to watch the replay, you can. It was a race. It was like a merry-go-round, basically. So I like the Stage Presence closing to that. So I really like Stage Presence here. And my top pick is actually, I don't know how to pronounce it. How would you pronounce the 8 horse there? Mariah or Moria? Moria?
Yeah, I would go with Mariah.
Yeah, Mariah had a really difficult trip last time. I can't show the replay because it's Colonial. I can open it somewhere else, but I'm not going to. It'll take too long. But you'll have to trust me that Mariah had a 3 wide trip, 4 wide the first turn, 3 wide the second turn. actually got even with the leaders. You can see second by a head if you're watching on YouTube, and was basically right there on the lead, and then just ran out of gas. But between the wide trip, and it was also a pretty fast pace. It doesn't look it, but the pace kind of fell apart a little bit. I thought it favored closers the race. You'll like it because she's second time blinkers, which I'm embarrassed I'm even announcing. Sorry, I saw
Ding,
you.
ding, ding.
Some people like second time laces, but regardless of that, I don't know if I'm getting 20-1, but I'm getting close to that. So the 8 is the horse I like the most. So if I had to like number them, it was 8, 9, 7 in that order. There's 3 or 2 others I might use also, but I'll give you the floor for a moment. Say anything you'd like here about the race, ask questions, point out things, and then I'll just wrap it up with a couple if you don't mention. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, as you said, uh, Maria, I guess. Second time blinker, second time Lasix. And as you said, had a wide trip because broke from the 12 post in that mile and a 16th. And that turn comes up pretty quick at Colonial. So yeah, that I have a love-hate relationship with the one horse, Lariston, because as you know, I have something, it's against my religion to bet horses who've been running strictly against their own kind, meaning 3-year-olds. And this is the first time she's running against older, which I know is stupid because in reality, there's only 3 other, there's 3 4-year-olds in here. She's had tough trips the whole time. She's twice the beaten favorite, but she has the best Brisnet turf figure, which goes back to the second one out. She's cutting back in distance, adds blinkers. So, with all that being said, I like the one horse Lariston.
And I just want to jump in because I don't know if you see, but I put up the replay for those watching or the start of it. That is her, the 10 horse. She got out of the gate terribly. Probably spotted them 3 lengths at least and some momentum. The problem is she runs really well, like you said. And she had a bad trip, wide everything, like you said, or rank. She was very rank. She always gets out to a bad start. That's what worries me. But she is a nice horse otherwise if she breaks at all. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just want to throw that in. I don't know if you want to keep going.
So I think she'll be my top pick. I also kind of like the 11 first time out on the turf after a short layoff. Belle the Bluegrass is the 11 horse. Again, it's interesting that here's a horse that really showed nothing back at Churchill Downs on the dirt. It showed some speed. I guess that's why they cut back to 5.5 on the turf is what the reason why she took the money, or the field was just not all that great, and she wound up taking the money, but she almost got the job done. So I think because of the running style she shows, a little tactical speed, doesn't need to be on the lead, whereas there's a lot of others in here who will be all out to get the lead. The interesting, the things that I point out interesting, and you sometimes take up as just because I mentioned the horse, that's who I like. The first time starter, the 5 for Ben Colebrook, 5th of May. He attracts Flavian Pratt, who every time he's on a horse on the turf at Saratoga, it takes money like IRAD. The interesting thing is he shows up here. In the past year, he's only ridden for Colebrook twice before without a win, but yet Pratt was on Wesley Ward's horse, who was the morning line favorite the last 2 times she ran. So whether it's something that Ward is just doing at Kentucky Downs, maybe Frankie is going to be his rider at Kentucky Downs, who knows, but just something to make you think, to muddle your brain as far as whether or not to use horses or not. So
All right. And
Uh,
I always say, don't worry about the jockey decisions because you have no idea what went into them, but I hear what
Sure.
you're saying. All right. So you touched on a few horses I wanted to, so we can kind of wrap up real quick. The 11, I don't like at all. Bella the Bluegrass. I know you said you like him. Her. I just thought I had a perfect trip saving ground. I'm avoiding the 11, but again, I don't like talking people off of horses. That's why I don't like them. The 5, I might throw in because, well, first of all, Pratt is a reason maybe. Colin Kane's are pretty good, and it's not like there's a great field that she's facing here. And even though Colbert's not great with first timers, that's a horse to think about. You mentioned the one already, who I might use. I'm just worried about the bad starts. The only other horse we didn't mention that I might use as like a 5th horse here is the 10 Penny Smile. I have the time form projector up, by the way. One reason I'm using Scarlet Poppy, the 7, is because I'm just worried she's going to wire the field and be the lone speed. So that's the only fear I have for her. But anyway, getting back to the regular PPs, the 10 horse, and then we'll wrap it up here. I thought it ran pretty well last time. It was on the dirt, but ran well. Blames are okay on the turf, and the mom, Our Maria. I can't even read it. I got to look on my screen. My printing things are so small. Our Maria Celeste is not bad turf influence there. So I might use a 10 a little bit. So for me, it's 8, 9, 7, and then maybe 1, 5, 10 would be the other ones. Okay. You want to, anything else? You want to move on?
No, we'll move on to race 8, which for those who do not know about Kentucky Downs, every race is on the turf. So this one is a mile and 5/16, very unusual distance. It is the grade 3 Nashville Derby worth $3.1 million for 3-year-olds, restricted to 3-year-olds. 14 are entered, 12 draw in. And Eric, why don't you lead us off with your analysis?
All right. So this is a race I'm probably going to end up singling. There are 3 horses I want to talk about, so I'll be a lot quicker this race. I don't have 5, 6 horses to get to. I'm going to start out out of order, not the single. The one Rothschild is a big long shot here. I don't love this horse per se. I'm worried about the distance for this horse, but I thought the horse ran a really good race in the Oceanside last time, coming off about a 7-month layoff. The horse ran very well, was 3 to 4 wide, made an early move into the race. I thought too early, one that favored closer. So I really like this horse. If it was like a mile 16, mile 70, I would definitely be using this horse and relying on this horse a lot. But I'm just worried the distance, but I would love to include this horse. It's just, I don't know if it's worth tripling or doubling my bet to include the horse, but I will definitely vertically be using this horse. There's just another horse that I think is significantly better. That's the only reason why I wouldn't use in the pick 5, although I'd like to, if possible. Another horse who I'm probably going to omit in the pick 5, but I like to use, is a horse that I've liked for a while, the 12 Cugino. Cugino is a horse that had some bad trips going back to Keeneland and Churchill and all that, and then finally was able to just, Pratt just put the horse on the lead last time, said I'm not playing around, and wired the field. Usually, horses that have easy leads wire the field. I'm like, all right, they had it so easy. They're overbet next time, not usually worth it. So maybe I'll be overbet off of that. But I just think this horse is better than the races before that on his PPs because of the bad trips. Last race put together, I think there's still upside here. So I do like Cugino. So I'd love to use the 1 and 12 and definitely will vertically. But unfortunately, the way the pick 5 is going, so if I can go 3 deep here, I will. I'm going to try. But the way it goes, as you see as we go through it, it's going to be hard for me to do that financially and make it make sense. So I'm probably going to single the most likely chalk, unfortunately, and that's Bella Justum. I'm probably mispronouncing the name. And that's one of the Euro horses here. There's a horse who 2 back ran at Ascot in a group 3, came in 3rd. In that race, actually a rare European speed duel, but dueled a horse who was 13 to 1 in that race. And that horse came in 9th place. So pretty big field there. And when you have a big field, 13 to 1 is not like some crazy long shot. So really put that horse away and held well in a race that probably slightly favored horse coming out the pace. Definitely, had to work hard on the front end. So not that I bet Goodwood the next day or next race, but August 1st, I probably would have liked this horse based on that race. And the horse came in 2nd last race at Goodwood, August 1st. And it was only a 4-horse field, that race, but it was a Group 3. And unfortunately for this horse, the 3 to 5 shot was an Aidan O'Brien horse. I don't know how to pronounce that. Jan Brugel, something like that, who was undefeated at 3 for 3 right now. And this horse just couldn't catch up to that horse, but ran well to make a little run at that horse. But there was just, this horse sat mid-pack. There was just no chance. So showed that he can sit off the pace, doesn't need to go into the lead, has a little speed, so it doesn't have to be like way, way back. I just think class-wise, trip-wise, everything-wise, this is the horse to beat. And assuming the horse handles the shipping well, I'm anything can happen, but I expect the 6 to win this race. So I'm 6 and then the 112, but most likely have to single the 6 Bella Justin. I do want to say 1 or 2 things about the Euros, so people know how they ran the 4 and 7, but I don't want to hog it, and I'll be very quick. But why don't you jump in, GQ, with whatever?
No, go ahead, finish your thought.
Just because there's no PPs really for them, or not no PPs, but no running lines. The 4-horse Stromberg is a very deep closer. So if you're betting Stromberg in the 4, you're going to come from way back. And the 7 Sea of Thunder has some speed. Had a pretty easy lead last time at Hamilton. Of course, I have to admit I never heard of over in England, so I don't know how great the races are there. I mean, decent purse for a European race, but I had a pretty easy lead in that race and coughed it up. So that's one reason I'm against the 7. But 7's a speed horse. 4 is a closer, Stromberg. So I just want to mention that for those who are wondering about pace scenario.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I know people rely on everything electronic these days, but like what you're showing here, at least some of the races, if not all of them, will show a pretty, good, commentary on how the race was run. You'll see, close up track leaders in the rear, held up in the rear. So if you can read, you should be able to decipher the run, how the horse runs. And I was liking your single as well, the 6-horse. But we have 3 horses. We got Chad's horse, the 5-horse, White Palomino has speed. Bellum Justum, based on what I read, has speed. I'm surprised you didn't mention that 3 back. Of course, when he lost by 13, the winner was All World City of Troy horse, who is supposed to be coming for the Breeders' Cup. So, and then the 3rd place horse, Los Angeles, came back to win. So I was leaning on the 6. For this, I like to look at these, long races, and I like to see if any horses have even run that distance. They don't have to win at that distance, at least be tested going that far to see how they run. And the ones that fit that bill are the 2 Europeans that you had mentioned, the 4 Stromberg and the 6 Bellum Justum. I mean, in addition to the 2 speeds, from the outside, Gino also shows speed. I can't see a speed duel going a mile and 5/16, but that's what makes me kind of balk at loving the 6-horse. But
PQ, I'll just jump in to help you. Like, he's shown speed in some races, but last race he came from mid-pack, the 6, so he's not a speed type. Like, he'll be fine.
Right.
So I wouldn't let that chuck up.
Right. It's not like he's
because he could be even money. That's the reason not to bet the 6. If he's 7-2, I'm all over him.
Right. And just the fact that the Europeans are used to running on the grass, on all different grass surfaces, that the unique structure of Kentucky Downs with their hills and turns and that sweeping turns, could be conducive to them. So I don't have a strong opinion, but I definitely would lean on the 4 or the 6. So are you done with this race?
I'm done with this race.
Okay, you're completely done with this race. So we'll move on to race 9, the 3rd leg of the late pick 5. It is the grade 2 System Ladies Turf Sprint for $1.5 million for fillies and mares 3-year-old up. 16 entered, 12 draw in, and very interesting race where there seems to be a lot of speed signed on early toward the inside, and then on the outside are a couple closers. And I kind of like the 9-horse Bling at 30-1. Blinkers on, but again, not too sure I want to endorse her on top, mainly because I'm going back to what I preach every week when we talk about stakes races. You look at her races, and whenever she has Lasix on is when she wins. Plus the fact she's moving up in class, coming back into a grade 2, where in her past she's done well in grade 3s on the turf, but who knows? Blinkers on, but Lasix off.
Can I
You just can't stand for me to say anything without jumping.
No. There's certain things I feel like I have to rebut, though, that I don't want to let go, because then we're on another topic. Can I rebut, or you don't want me? You want me to just?
No, you can't rebut. Let me finish, and then
Go ahead. You
and
finish.
then
I'll take notes.
And
It'll be
then
like
you
a
can
debate. They'll mute my mic. I'll take notes, and then I'll rebut. Go ahead.
right. Then you can rebut. The horse that likely will be amongst at least one on my pick 5 ticket is the 11-horse Dan's Macabre. She, once again, she's entering a grade 2 for the first time, but her Brisnet speed figures continue to rise. And where are her speed figures for? We're looking at where are the speed figures? Oh, okay, they're in green.
11, right?
Okay, so they're up and down. Whereas she's increased her speed figure, though that last time out, maybe she needed that race. Here she gets an 6.5. So it was a good effort off of the 6 to 7 month layoff. And so Dance Macabre, I think, is a nice pick for 6-1 if the morning line's true, which we're really not sure about. Now you can tear apart what I had to say.
All right. So you talk about a horse winning with Lasix, but I mean, where's Bling? What number is Bling? I don't even know.
Bling is 9.
Oh,
number 9.
Sorry, I'm going the wrong way. So if you look at his races, though, like, I don't know, speed figures, whatever you want to look at, they're the same with or without Lasix. Plus, he ran at Kentucky Downs last year in the Music City, grade 3. And I know he came in 3rd. He totally blew the brake that day. He ran lights out and should have easily won that race. So he ran great, basically in the similar race last year. It was for 3-year-olds, so now it's older, but he's older, she's older too. But ran great in this race last year with no Lasix. So I wouldn't worry all about that. And listen, you're not getting 30-1 on Bling. Bling was actually scratched today to run in that spot. Today, meaning Thursday, we're recording this, sorry. To run this spot. I like Bling up, I don't want to say a lot here, but I definitely like Bling. There's just no way I'm getting 30-1 or anyone's getting 30-1. Do you want to go more? I just want to make sure I got that in to rebut your Lasix comment.
No. I mean, another horse that I like is the 10, 15-1, Red Carpet Ready. I mean, has made a living just sprinting on dirt. Finally got on turf. The sire's Oscar Performance, who, you got Kitten's Joy, that is nothing but distance. And then I Swear By Anything out of Street Sense / Street Cry. As soon as they go 2 turns, they're a must use, but yet this horse has never gone 2 turns. So I would love to see Red Carpet Ready go 2 turns, but I still am encouraged by the first outing. at Alice Park last time in that race where it looked like a blanket finish. I think she can move forward off of that race.
Yeah, and
Now you
unfortunately,
can go.
oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll raise my hand for now on. Unfortunately, that race that Reddy comes out of, and we were talking about this earlier today. That's the race that Overcharged, who was a great
Yes.
filly on the turf, who actually has the highest speed figure of any horse in the country, by her speed figure, 113, winning a turf sprint at Fairgrounds. She unfortunately fatally went down in that race, so there's no replay available for that race, and I didn't see the race, so I don't remember the race, how it played out and all. But this is a race for me, and we talked before we went on also. I really don't have an opinion here. I know it's hard to have opinions on a lot of stuff.
All right, so go back to Bling then.
Oh, all right. I'm just going to show, I'm just going to show the pace projector real quick. I put it on while you were talking. I don't know if people saw it. I just want to mention how it's showing a fast pace. You mentioned there's a lot of speed inside, whatever. So it's showing the 6 on the lead, but then 2, 3, 4 right there and a hot pace. So what I'm going to do is probably spread in this race, leaning more on closers. I'll mention 1 or 2 things, but I'll go back to Bling, you said. It just takes a second.
Yeah.
So I'm on my way back. Froze for some reason. There we go. No, page down works. All right, go ahead. What do you got?
Oh, just my point, and I'll trust you that you did your homework and you remember the grade 3 Music City where Bling was the best.
Mm-hmm.
And if he didn't have a ton of trouble and get left, would have blew the socks off of Secret Money and Dance Macabre. But my comeback is, all right, this isn't the only time she's been in a graded stakes. It seems like she just can't get over the top in graded stakes company. And she's had plenty of opportunities, and even barring bad trips or whatever, you would think that if she was good enough, she would prevail one of these times. And probably that's why she's 30-1, because she doesn't do that. Yes, in the back, Mr. Is it Ruben?
Yes, thank you.
Ruben?
Yes. Well, you sort of stole my thunder at the very end. She's talking about what I don't even think she'll be a huge long shot. We're talking about a long shot. You're like parsing why she can't win. Who cares? Plus, if you look at the replay, this is her back here. I'll go back. I'll rewind. This is her, the horse that never broke. She's still not on the screen. She's still back there.
Right.
And she comes flying for third. And it's not like the race fell apart or anything. So to me, she easily wins a Great Green. And she's had problems with the break once or twice, but not like that.
You're showing a replay from 7 races ago.
But
what has she done?
Maybe this is why
stakes since then.
This is why my humble
had bad trips.
No, well, she hasn't had great, but this is maybe my humble brag. Kentucky Downs is different than all other races. I look at how they ran at that track. That's huge to me. And she ran a monster race at this track because so many horses run at this track. They run well and they suck elsewhere. And so many horses do well elsewhere and come here and suck because it's up and downhill. It's weird turns. You go right, you go left. I mean, it's crazy. So she ran a monster race here. Listen, I'm spreading in this race, but if I had to pick one horse, that's the horse I want to bet. Again, we haven't really said, you said more than me, obviously, but haven't really talked about too many horses here. I mean, there's not many. Coffee Maker I'll go to. I don't know, though. And especially with the fast pace.
Before you scroll away from here, that's all you need to know about Bling.
What?
Any horse that, go back to, scroll up to the chart.
From Kentucky Downs race? Go ahead.
Yeah, you just had it up.
Yep, I'm back.
Look which, no, the payoffs. Scroll up to the payoffs.
Yeah, we're at the top. I don't even know where they are. Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Any horse who pays $6.66 is not a good horse to back.
Right.
Sorry, just some comic relief there.
Extremely funny. That's why we have you. Anyway, I don't know. Coffee Maker was in crazy pace last time. With Futures now came back to run, to run really well. When Pac almost tackled another horse the other day on Futures now. I just don't love Coffee Maker other than that. So I don't know, but I can see upgrading Coffee Maker. There wasn't much speed here, but there's a lot of speed. So I might use Coffee Maker based on that because I'm probably going to spread. But otherwise, I don't. I mean, we can talk about more horses, but I'm not here to help. So hopefully, people out there, again, this is why I can't do like pre-race things on TV, because I can't make up opinions I don't have, and I don't really have any other than I do like bling. You want to move on?
You're like every woman on this earth. They like bling. Okay. On to race 10. Well, that was race 10. No,
No, we're on 10.
No.
2 more to
Oh,
go.
we're on 10. We're having so much fun. I lost track of the race we were on. All right. So race 10 is the 4th race in the sequence, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And it's a 1 mile on the turf at Kentucky Downs. Grade 3 Kentucky Downs ladies turf. 14 entered, 12 draw in. And Eric, would you like to start off with your opinions?
Sure. So talking about the pick 5, I was like most likely anywhere from 3 to 6 deep in the first leg, probably singling the second leg, going fairly deep in race 9, the third leg. I don't know how many, but I'm going to use as many as I can who I think have a shot, especially if they're a price. This race is going to be my other cut down leg, and I'm probably going to go too deep, although I could single again, but I'm probably going to go too deep. And those two are going to be the 2 Graham Motion horses. So I have to go towards the outside here. And that's the 9 and 10. I actually messaged you as I was studying the race. I got to the 9. And when I got to, I go in like number order. I don't know. Some people might start with the favorites or pace or whatever, but yeah, I just go in number order. I kind of glance at the favorite or a couple favorites first before I study a race, just to kind of see what I'm facing. And then I go from there, but I don't necessarily start with the favorite as far as like really diving into it. So I'm going, I get to the 9. Like, I don't really love anyone in this spot yet. There's a lot of horses I dislike that are running here. And I get to the 9. I'm like, wow, I like this horse. And I said, I was teasing you. I said, I like the 9 Sparkle Blue. This is in race 10 at Kentucky Downs on Saturday. But I said, I'm skeptical of the jockey, teasing you because I know you love Jorge Ruiz as the greatest turf rider in the history of turf racing in Maryland. But so I do like this horse, though. Then I got to the 10. I'm like, oh, crap, because I like the 10 a lot. So let me start with the 10, then I'll go back to the 9. In fact, the 10 is coming out of the Diana, which was a grade 1 race. The Diana was a race. I don't know if the PPs will show it as well if I go to the chart here for those watching, but the Diana's was a paceless race. If you might remember watching it, White Beam was allowed to just go to the front and walk around the track. The horses, Didia followed him, kind of stayed close. Gino Romantica tried to close a little bit. Moira made probably the best closing bid. But I thought it really favored speed. It doesn't look necessarily like because every just favored, but you weren't catching White Beam that day. Moira, who I said probably made the best close, ends up coming back and winning racing what? Was it California or Kentucky? I'll look. The Beverly Dale Colonial won the Beverly D. Didn't put up a big speed figure, but won the Beverly D. I just thought that race really favored horses on the front end. It was a grade 1, to me, a much tougher race than this race. And I even bet Mission of Joy in that race at 17-1. I just thought the horse didn't have much chance in that race and actually got checked on the second turn. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit in this race on the replay. Sorry for those listening. I'll try and talk you through it a little bit. But let me go. We're talking about the 3 horse here, Mission of Joy. I'm going to skip ahead to the second turn. I just have to go to it. Sorry, it's loading a little slow. So remember, this is also a paceless race. We're talking about the 3 horse. I'll get away from the tree there for those watching. And the 3, another tree. They have a lot of trees. This is why I tweeted about 3 weeks ago that we have to chip in. I was going to start a GoFundMe to buy Saratoga a higher camera stand so we can actually see over the trees. All right, anyway. So Mission of Joy is in the white with the turquoise sleeves here. 2 wide. And I'm hoping, because I haven't watched the replay recently, that she checks a little bit. Again, a paceless race, already up against it, probably closer than wants to be because of that. More trees. And at some point might check. Oh, there it is. It wasn't much, but lost momentum.
Right behind the oak tree.
So right now, running even with the 1 and whoever that is, and then checked a little bit. Again, you have to watch carefully, but lost some momentum, lost a couple of lengths, and still tried to close. I'm going to stop it there, but still tried to close a little bit. So to me, against Better, was against the pace, had trouble. This is a horse I can definitely single. So if I decide to use Cugino in that 1 horse earlier in race 8, I could single Mission of Joy, but you know the rules. When a trainer has two horses, you have to go with the longer shot. It's not really a rule, but it's kind of an unwritten rule for me. But I actually like Sparkle Blue. This is a horse who last race only won by half a length, but was extending, could have won by a lot more. And one reason I like the horse is what we talked about, even though you'll make fun of me because I'm looking at a race from 17 races ago. But the race Kentucky Downs, that ladies turf, which I think is the same race, right? Isn't this a ladies turf?
Yes.
So it was in this race last year, and I thought ran a really good race. In that race, there was also no pace, closed, and I believe, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure by September 9th, they had taken the rails down at Kentucky Downs, and the inside was really good. And this horse was running wide in that race. So between no pace, closing wide, I thought ran a best race of anyone there. So ran a really good race in Kentucky. Maybe it's not the same horse this year, but I think is. I think could have won by more last time if she wanted to or needed to, I should say. So maybe wants a little more than a mile, but it's been okay the mile. So I like Sparkle Blue. So I'm just 10 Mission of Joy and 9 Sparkle Blue here. We can talk about some others or some others that interest me a little, but that's all I'm using in the pick 5 sequence. GQ, you want to jump in?
Yeah. And just since I'm a wealth of useless knowledge, anyone who wondered about that last race that Sparkle Blue ran at Laurel, it's the Big Dreyfus. That was named after the longtime racing secretary for the Maryland Jockey Club, who is Georgianne Hale. She's still around, but she retired from that. And her nickname was Big Dreyfus. So they named the race after her. So if anybody comes across Miss Hale, which I will at the Big T, I will pass on my well wishes.
I hope it's not because she looks like Richard Dreyfuss.
No.
Okay, good. All right.
No.
Anyway.
Not quite. But
right.
Yeah. So gosh, I love Sparkle Blue because of that. But she ran in the Big Dreyfus last year, won the Big Dreyfus, and came back and ran in the ladies. So Graham is using the same path on to hopefully a victory. But the only thing that I could think is with the rain in the forecast, and this is just a general handicapping tidbit that people who are looking typically probably won't really look at, is if there was rain in the forecast and if the turf is on the soft side, certainly isn't going to be rock hard like it is at Gulfstream or Del Mar or whatever. You may want to look at races where horses have run on a yielding or a good turf to see how they ran based on their odds. And that's there's a couple in here. I'm not going to go into detail for them, but just look at the horses that you might land on and see if they can handle a soft or yielding or good turf course, because I don't believe that the statistics in the top right-hand corner, there are no statistics for that. It's simply just turf, and it's only wet track is for the dirt. So that's all I wish to say about that in the interest of time. And moving on to
can I just last couple things about the race, because we talked about 2 horses only. I'll literally, you can time me 30 seconds. Fluffy Socks, just on class alone, Fluffy Socks has a decent shot here, coming out of grade 1s. She was in that race with no pace either. Didn't really run that much, but was in that race. And when she runs against the grade 1, grade 2 types, it's too tough. When she gets to the grade 3, she does well. Moofy's been running against some better ones, so I can see why people might like Woofy. And then Evie Jets is the other one, which I don't love. I should, being a New Yorker, because Evie Jets runs in New York a lot. That's her home base. Or Anyway, she she was up on that slow pace, but she also just class wise fits here too. But I'm just with the 10-9. But those are some horses I can see being logical that people might throw in or want to use. But I'm just 9-10. All right, now I'm good. Thank you.
Just real quick, number
Yep.
4, Implicated.
Yep.
You have any opinion on Implicated? I mean, coming off of Lasix, is 3 for 3 at this distance, the mile. Good, bad, and different with this horse?
I hate talking people off of horses, but I'm more against Implicated. I
And
thought the
just
Endeavor.
one reason, that's all.
Yeah, no, I just thought good trips. The Endeavor
Okay.
coming back got a very good trip. Last race got a very good trip behind a pace battle. I think there were 3 horses battling at Woodbine and just sat off of them and closed. So could she win? Yeah, I mean she's fine, but not really for me. So I wouldn't be shocked, but I'm not using.
Well, and then here's another one. If you scroll up to Sacred Wish, the 2-horse, Paco sighting at Kentucky Downs for George Weaver. And this year, believe it or not, Paco has, you probably have the statistics right there. This year, Paco has won 6 out of 9 races when riding for George Weaver. That's quite impressive.
A couple of them were futures now. I just singled last week. Stayed up on the DQ, won me some money. Yeah, this horse I'm also against. Just similar. I just thought the trips were good. Last race, you might remember. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Boat Cachet, which is a Chad Brown horse, one of his many graded stakes female horses. She just wired the field at Monmouth that day, and Sacred Wish kind of just chased around the track. And I just thought it helped the front runners a slow pace. So again, similar to the 4, 2 and 4 in the same boat. Could they win? Yeah, I'm just not going with them though.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So ready to go on to the last leg?
I am.
Last leg of the late pick 5 on Saturday at Kentucky Downs, the 11th race. Once again, at a mile on the turf. Maidens going 1 mile. Fillies 3 years old and upward. 16 entered, 12 draw in. And I'll start off by saying that I love the horse.
Ooh.
I love the 3-horse.
Ooh.
Silver Moonlight, 6-1 morning line.
Ooh.
And it's for this, never been on the turf. Makes turf debut after 2 failed attempts at Gulfstream Park. The big reason is in the bloodlines. The dam by More Than Ready. More Than Ready is a staple turf sire that horses just move up when they get on the turf. And interesting, Edgar Zayed comes up to ride this horse for Safi Joseph. So is he coming up with a package when he rides this horse? But no, I really like 3 Silver Moonlight, and we have our second time blinker sighting for the 2-horse. 20-1. Time for Magic. Make sure everybody watching and listening, make sure you pay attention to that. As well as the 9-horse, Our Finest Hour is second time blinkers. And ran a somewhat decent race. Third, Louis Saez up. Gets the services of Humberto Rispoli coming in from Southern California to ride. But one of my 2 favorite stable ownership stables is the owner of the 7-horse Augustin Stables. Jonathan Thomas is the trainer. 8-1. Rashmi, whatever. Second time out. Believe me, I'm a stone's throw. If you want to call maybe 50 miles, stone's throw from Delaware Park. I don't endorse horses who come from Delaware Park. To me, that would be like, Finger Lakes, coming to Saratoga. Just But they run there every once in a while. Obviously, the horse is turf bred. Uh, Most likely can move forward. So with all that said, to me, there's a lot of possibilities at prices. What say you, Mr. Air?
I had so much to rebut, I forgot most of it.
Oh wow.
Because I waited patiently.
Good for you.
First of all,
You
the
get a
one thing I
gold
will
star. Hopefully
thank you.
next week when you go in to work for the first time in 3 months, someone will bring you a nice shiny apple.
Thank you. So just one thing has nothing to do with what we're talking about as far as today's or Saturday's race, but Finger Lakes horses win all the time and Saratoga. That's not a bad angle. But anyway, all right. So a few horses here. Two horses I like the most. The 5, Bird Watching, 9-2 on the morning line, but I'll take that if that's what you get. Ran in Tampa. It's been since January in Tampa, but first of all, Arnold Delacour, if that's how you pronounce it, I know he's a Frenchman. So I'm probably butchering it. He runs really well off a layoff. He has great numbers, and he also has great numbers in Kentucky Downs. But that's not the only reason. I'm not a big stats guy per se. This horse was up on a very fast pace. It collapsed at Tampa, and I thought he ran really well. The 1-2 finishers, there was like 7 lengths back to the third finisher, and I thought the horse ran really well in that race. So this horse is ready, which I would think for this much money and a trainer who's good off of layoffs at this track, this horse is going to be ready. So I like the 5 a lot. And the other horse I like a lot, I'd like to show a quick replay, is the 12 horse. And that's, I assume, I can't say it, like, what happened, right? You say, like, what happened? Is that how you say it? What happened?
Yeah. What
Or
happened?
Yeah. What happened?
What happened?
So,
What happened?
yeah, but I think it's like, what happened? Anyway,
What
we said
happened?
enough. So anyway, why do I like this horse? I got a big plus sign. I got to read why. Totally shut out and re-rallied. I wish I wrote where in the race this happened. Oh, I can't show it on this. I forgot because it's Churchill. This is I'm not going to open up the other thing. You'll have to trust me on this one. You can go back and watch the replay yourself. But this is a horse who was totally shut off, I guess. I wrote shut out. And it says shuffle 3/8, whatever. And still re-rallied. And was also a first-time starter. So I know they're 2 of the shorter prices, maybe 2 of the favorites, but I do like the 5 and 12 here. The other horses, if I went deeper, I would use. You mentioned the 7 Rashmi. That's how you said it. I think you said it like that. There's a horse who was in a race that was kind of a paceless race and still closed. But there was one other horse who kind of closed. So I guess it's not really a merry-go-round. But for the most part, Speeds had a big advantage, I thought. The other thing is the other horse who closed in the race came back to do nothing, if that means anything. So I'm torn on Rashmi. If I didn't see that, I would like Rashmi more. But that's a horse I definitely would like to use. And the other one is the 4 on Command. I guess I'm kind of short priced here, which I hate to do. But this horse ran well on the turf 2 back. It was her lone turf start. It looks like she had an easy lead, but she was pressed in that race. And I thought the race kind of fell apart. In fact, if I click on the chart here, hopefully it proves me right. But yeah, you can see, I mean, again, just because horses come from the back doesn't mean it favored closers. They might have been the best horses, but I watched the replay to see. And if you look, 46-1 came from 8th to win it. 67-1 came from 10th to win it, to come in third. A 7-1 came from 11th to get second. So this race fell apart and it was being pressed. It was not an easy lead. So those are the 4 horses that I want to use. 4, 7, 5, 12, 4, 5, 7, 12. You want them in order, number order, leaning more on the 5 and 12. But those are the 4 horses I want to use. I could go deep and throw in a bunch more. I won't bore people by mentioning them. We're going long anyway. But those are the 4, again, not big prices, but those are the 4 I want. So I'm looking at a pick 5 where I'm going to go anywhere from 3 to 6 deep in the first leg. I think it's before scratches. Most likely singling the second leg, go very deep in the third leg. 4th leg, race 11, I'm going 2 deep. I might even single, but probably 2 deep. I'll probably press with a single or Mission of Joy. And then this leg, I'm looking at most likely 4 deep. I might press with the top 2 if I bet extra, but 4 deep. So I'm like, at most, 5 by 1 by, 6, 7 by 1 or 2 by about 4. So I don't know what that comes out to, but that's kind of where I'm looking on my spreadier ticket there. All right. Anyway, so I think I'm done with the sequence. I'll answer any questions if you have, or if you want to mention anything else that you see in this last race.
No, it seems like there's you you can make an excuse for a lot of these. I mean, most of them are lightly raced, so you don't have a lot to pick from as far as their previous races, but you make excuses for a lot of them. Even, we didn't even mention the one horse at 12-1, Ploy Grand Motion, Jorge Ruiz, debuts at 7 furlongs at Laurel on the dirt, when, the horse is definitely bred to running on the turf. So, we could point out things about every horse, and as you say, other podcasts, since you mentioned the horse, you take credit for picking the horse. So, but no, so I hope you enjoy your last weekend of freedom before you have to rejoin the real world and work for a living.
Long days, work,
long
soccer,
days.
and then basketball workouts at night. So we
Yes.
start our 12-hour work days. The summer of Eric is over.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for putting all this together. Enjoy your weekend. Everyone enjoy your holiday weekend. I will be at the Big T. And any closing thoughts for you before the ta-ta?
No, that's it. Just if you get a chance, try and check Twitter for GQ when he'll be on at the Big T. Hopefully you can check him out there. He does a great job just outside the paddock. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Those going back to work like me, enjoy. Hopefully you make some money this weekend, and it's a joyful first week. All right, we will talk to you hopefully next week. Ta-ta.